Hi, guys. Welcome to the TCCW Live. Looking forward to a great conversation today. We have quite a group of our community members at the moment, which is super exciting. Many whom have not been together, as James is fairly new to our group. So, this is his first go around with everyone here. And gosh, I don't know. Stefan and Nate, have you guys been on together before?
I don't think we have,
No, I don't think we have either. I mean, we chat almost every day, but we never had the chance to be in live together.
right? I don't
Nice.
think I've been on the live with James either. Now that I think of it, I
No.
think this is all new to me.
Yeah, it is. Love it.
Well, so, as of this moment, we are still awaiting our special guest. We'll see if he shows up today. If not, we can all give him a good scolding.
It
Oh,
happens.
hold on, hold on, wait. I think he's here.
Yes. I'm
Joey,
sorry, my hair
welcome.
is so wet. I just got out of the shower.
It's all
Shirtless
right.
brother, James.
Hey.
Awesome.
Joey, what's up?
So this
What's
totally
up,
was a
boys?
conversation that I missed.
Right? Should I just like
So
start putting
Right,
them
just
down?
like,
yeah,
all right, guys. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I think I'll leave myself out of that one. You guys go for it. Have fun.
my gosh.
I'm
I'm so
super
So,
sorry. That
interested to
was
hear some of the stories on how you guys ended up like pushing into this, carnivore diet lifestyle. Like we got two new people that I've never actually interacted in person with, and so it's just kind of fascinated how you got here. So I don't know if Selena, you want to take over. I was just something I was thinking about. I was like, we've got new people I've never interacted with, and it's always cool to hear people's stories on like how they push into it.
absolutely, absolutely. So, following Nate's cue, I am going to go ahead and ask, hey, Joey, welcome to the Carnivore Community Live. We are so happy and excited to have you here. If you will give kind of us and our viewers a quick little step into how did you end up carnivore? Because obviously it's not the most common jump off the cliff, lifestyle to get into. So how'd you get here?
but it's becoming more common, hopefully.
Yes,
And
yes.
we're here to spread the gospel of it, I guess. Um, it's a long story, so I'll condense it for you, hopefully. But essentially, I got very depressed after high school,
Mm,
and I didn't know what to do with my life. I just had no direction. I was kind of angry at my idea of what God was.
yeah,
And so I had this wonderful idea that I should take my gifts, which have always been physical. If anyone's seen my stuff, I do flips all the time. And I've always been gifted athletically. So I thought if I just eat really badly and then I can end my life. But I was too scared. I couldn't ever finish. So this developed into like an eating disorder. Every day I would throw up at least 4 times a day, and all I would eat is junk. And I mean it. Like I'd eat 5 gallons of ice cream, throwing it up, and then I'd go like to every fast food joint and keep eating. And it was just this sick pattern that I had developed. And then one day I just finally kind of humbled myself and I prayed for the first time. And the next day, I started tracking my macros. I'd learned about a ketogenic diet. I'd never heard anybody talk about it. I just started doing it because it came up on the internet. It was like one of the first things when I looked
yeah.
up a healthy diet. So at the beginning of that, I was so used to throwing up, like I had scarring in my throat and chronic
Mm,
acid reflux and all this, that I could only keep down. I would track my calories back then, but mainly the
right.
macros were still the important factor because I knew, the ketogenic diet. So I could keep down like 200 calories the first day, and
Mhm.
then it quickly ramped up, and I was working out like a madman because my brain wasn't quite right enough to work yet. But after a
Right.
couple months, I started working, and it was probably um, maybe 8 months or so of really strict, and it became more and more strict over time. Really strict ketogenic diet. And then I was like, I want to simplify this. I'm working 3 jobs and working out every day. So I started eating only ground beef, and I did that for like over a year. So it's been 6 years since I've been eating high fat, high meat, and I did add carbs back in. I had a trip to Israel, and I was like, I should eat. Everyone's like, you need to know the culture, and anyway, so I
Yeah.
did that. But I'm back, and I literally only eat ground beef. I eat steak and salt, and I don't eat anything else ever. Breakfast, lunch, and
So
dinner.
so my question as far as like the basis of what what gave you the perspective that that was okay? Like that just having this um was a good idea and better than what you were doing, because I know in our society and everything that we're taught, through food and medical stuff at the moment, like it's very against a carnivore lifestyle. So what kind of made you think it was okay, like safe to do so and just kind of take your own turn in that department?
Well, when all of your issues reverse, that's a pretty good sign, you know? Like I don't
Oh,
need
definitely.
everybody to agree with me. I've never like I've never really wanted to fit in with the crowd, I guess.
Yeah,
Everything has its blessing and curse, but for me in that sense it was a blessing, and going from my headspace, and you got to understand like my body was in pain all the time because of my how I lived. I didn't exercise at all. Like I had pressure sores, I had a fatty liver. I had a lot of problems, especially for my age.
right.
And just having such discipline, and like my brain functioned so well, I could think so clearly. And now, like you said, especially back when I got into it, like people weren't talking about carnivore as much. I'd never heard
Right.
the term carnivore. It was still mainly a zero carb diet, but
Right.
I didn't need the validation, I guess. The validation of my health improving was enough.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I I definitely understand that whole kind of like falling into this whole system a little bit. I didn't really know what carnivore was either. And everything that I just sort of educated myself on and started really coming to was like, wait a minute. I didn't necessarily read anything that was like only red meats and high fats is good, but everything that I was learning and discovering about plants and the anti-nutrients and a lot of the counter effects that we received from them started making me eliminate things, kind of slowly at a time. I called myself keto, right, for like 6, 7 years. But I realized later I was much closer to like animal-based carnivore because most of the plants that affected my thyroid system and my hormonal system, I had already eliminated, which doesn't
Mm.
leave you with a whole lot. It pretty much leaves you with some berries. So
Yeah.
so it was kind of like, oh, okay, this is how we get into it. So anybody else kinda have questions or any comments that they'd like to put in there?
Can you teach me how
Well,
to
well,
backflip? Because anytime I try to backflip, I eat
I can.
it.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm trained in
Nate,
that.
Nate, I had exactly the same question. We need to talk about this later. Is this backflip thing?
Just backflips. I'm glad
No,
we're
let's
staying on topic.
no, black flips are great.
They're awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
I did what I love the backflips too. But by the way, hello, Joey. It's good to see
Hey,
you.
James.
I know we've been chatting. A lot of us like each other and integrate, or excuse me, not integrate, are involved with each other's content, which is amazing. I love the energy that you bring to the carnivore world. It's well needed. I absorb that energy. I take it as inspiration. I'm sure we all do. So I just have to say that, number one, nice to meet you, and I appreciate the energy you bring. And also, I wanted to say, kind of to what you all discussed already, Selena and Joey, which is like, okay, I also agree. I didn't fit in the world until I found carnivore for me just 2 years ago. And I'm going to stay here. I feel great. I feel like, this carnivore worldwide group is amazing, but as well as the community at large. I'm all about it. I feel like I have a true sense of self, true sense of family. And to your point as well, Selena, I don't think we're ever at this point in time going to ever read about the benefits of red fatty meat or fatty animal products. Like we're just not. So we're sourcing the truth on our own.
Yeah, it's something that is really interesting, even in the time we are now, where I'm gonna bring up kind of like a hot topic along the last couple weeks is even in the time we're in now, there's a lot of these people, a lot of these doctors, a lot of these influencers that we have all looked up to and have kind of leaned on as a community for information and data and everything in this carnivore space, who are choosing to introduce a higher carb diet and a lot of foods that I wouldn't necessarily agree with. And I'm pretty flexible and open for how people choose to eat, but it's a rather concerning time frame, because it's like, if you're not willing to educate yourself, if you're not willing to take that extra step into your own understanding and deduction of reason, and you're just going to rely on, influencers and what the doctor says. Well, the doctor said, well, the doctor said, well, the doctors don't always know the in and out of everything. Not that they don't want to, not that they're not highly educated, not that they, all of that stuff. I'm not trying to denote them, but they can't know everything about everything. And so if you're not willing to take that into your own hands, it's kind of a questionable fate that you're allowing yourself to be leaned over to other people. So we have to rely on our own research, our own understandings, and the the deduction of what is, fake BS that's being given to us for propaganda, or is this really true information?
I think science and data collection is ever changing. So, you can't rely on information from, let's say, the 80s and the early 90s to go and base everything you're doing, especially with the advent of modern technology and more concise data collection. And I think as time goes on, you're going to start to see maybe more indications that indicate that like statins aren't probably the best for you. If we haven't already figured it out now, you're going to start indicating that, get these indicators that you do need cholesterol for mental clarity. You need cholesterol for hormone production. And it's already information that's known, but I don't think most general practitioners put much weight in it. I think there's a lot of incentive for them to go and prescribe problems away versus maybe diagnose and solve the problem itself. So that's my 2 cents. And I'm in a household with medical professionals. I've got friends and family members, direct family members who work in the medical industry, and they'll tell you there's a lot of incentive for them to go and prescribe things versus maybe diagnose the issue itself.
Well, I'm going to cut the medical system at the knees then. All the way through.
But
of course.
I think what should be discussed is what the Joy brought up first, and I think our Norwegian friend John has had a good story or a good post this week as well, where he said like the study shows him that the carnivore diet is good, and then he writes he is the study, right, connected to that. And I think with the sources of information that we have today, that everyone can have a look into what's healthy and what's not. Is an information access that humanity hadn't had before. Then I'm completely with Nate. It's like the studies from the 80s, 60s, and 90s, they're all flawed. So at the end, I think people need to take a choice what they want. And I think this is what Joey described before as well. It's like you made a conscious decision, as most of us did at one point. And then when you start eating ground beef only, it's like all of a sudden this transformation is happening that you're not prepared for at the beginning. And for some it goes super quick, for some it goes slower. But this dependency on doctors or medical practitioners today in society is the scary part, because they have no freaking education about nutrition. they don't even know how hormones work best. They can
No.
just tell you what a certain range on your, blood works should give you, and then you're compared to the average human being, which is obviously very sick in our societies today. So
Mm.
I think the point is that people need to be a bit more brave and embark on this and experience the situation you get into when you eat meat only, what's happening to
Yes.
your brain and to your body, right? And we have all been there at one point.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, I have to say I'm going to whine a little bit for a moment about you brought up how we don't even understand really how our hormones work. And what's scary as like a woman specifically is we know more about your hormones as men than we do about ours. And it's like we don't even get the support that's needed for like even understanding, women going through cycles. I mean, not to bring up too much of a like kind of touchy subject, but I mean, they just what 2 3 years ago, if even that long ago, 2 years ago, just now started testing feminine hygiene products with actual blood. Just now. I mean, like really, really, guys,
Mm.
like
Yeah, that's crazy. I can't believe that actually.
yeah, I was shocked to discover that as well. Just kind of like, wait a minute, what the have you guys been testing it on? Like, what have you
Right.
what have you been using? And it just is one of those factors that not to point out like men or women separately, but just really like steps forward into that awareness of we barely really understand anything about human physiology. I mean, we know I don't even think we know the tip of the iceberg of how humans work
I don't
personally.
think we know the tip of the iceberg about how anything works, to be
Exactly.
honest. But, we we try to understand, but I think it's a cheap excuse saying, I'm scared to try this new way of eating. Really? You're scared to try this new way of eating, but ice cream's bad for you and you eat it every week.
Or how about those Doritos? You're
It's
not scared to try those.
it's just like
Like, what
something
is that?
foreign people are gonna, yeah, I'm scared of
Mhm.
something foreign, but that's
Yeah.
true for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So stepping into that, like a lot of people also tell me like, I don't have a strong enough willpower. Your willpower is really strong. And it's like, oh, really? Like my whole life, I've just been able to do whatever I want all the time. It's like, no, this is something you practice and you build, and discipline
Mhm.
helps that. So,
It takes 14 to 21 days to establish a habit. Once you get over the hump, it's just a routine then, right? And for
Yeah.
me, like when I do stray off of carnivore and I start to eat a little more keto, I'm like, okay, like I can see how I've gotten out of my routine and I'm not doing the thing that I know works for me. Or, I use it as an excuse like, well, I'm traveling. I'm going to eat keto while I'm traveling. But really, I probably could make it work. I mean, we could pick better restaurants. I could grab certain things at the airport, or I can grab things at gas stations that fall within the confines of that keto diet. But yeah, you're 100% right. I think a lot of people are just scared of the unknown. They're uncomfortable with things that they're not familiar with, and then for them to, if they're uncomfortable with that unfamiliar thing, it's easier for them to be like, nah, I'm not going to do that. It's not my thing.
I also would say that's food addiction. And
For
whether people
sure.
know it or not, some people know that they're addicted to certain foods. They don't want to give it up. Some people are blind to it, and they're confused into thinking that, oh, well, I'm required to have carbs. I'm required to have vegetables. And we're here obviously in this carnivore community saying, no, you don't. And however many years that a lot of us have been on it. For you, Joey, you said 6 years. For me too, just over 2 years. So many people have been doing this for years. And
Right.
so, as we said, we are the proof, but it is possible. It's just people getting over a food addiction. And to your point as well, like keeping a habit going. The way I started this journey was with my calendar. I used to put an X on every single day so that I could track. And I was like, wow, I'm going for a month. By the time I was about 3 months in, I started forgetting because the habit had been formed.
Hmm.
Right.
That's
Right.
how I am with working out. Like I've got my set weekly routine that works for me and it keeps me right. Like I keep myself honest. And I have days where I'm tired, right? And I'm going to bed and my wife or the kids will be like, why don't you sleep in? And I'm like, I can't. This is my routine. I have to maintain my routine. And part of it's like the fear of sliding back, right? Like sliding back to being out of shape or being obese. And the other part of it is like, I just know this works for me and I have to stick to it because I like the way I feel and I like the way I look. So it's just kind of, it's part of the discipline aspect. It's like, I got to go pay my dues. I got to go do it.
Right, right, absolutely. I think that very much so, especially for those of us that have been on the morbidly obese side. You know, it's like once you reduce that at such a rate that you go, there's no way in hell I'm gonna let myself go back to that. I
Oh,
can't,
yeah,
I can't, I can't tip that over.
But
And it's like, I think a lot of people, you know, like I haven't lost everything that I would like to per se, especially since having the baby. But in the same shot, I mean, I'm still 108 pounds less than what I used to be. And
which
it's
is
like,
massive. That's amazing.
right. And it's like, thank you, thank you. So it's like when you look at that and you've experienced that, like I know for sure that, you know, you've experienced quite a drastic weight loss, Nate. I
Mhm.
know both Stefan and James have, not to deduce, I don't know, Joey, if you were ever massively big, but I don't think you were, but I could be wrong.
No, I was never massively big. I was fat, but yeah, I've never.
But not like, yeah.
I used to be
Whenever,
athletic and then I had a really bad diet. It wasn't like I've
right,
always been this big person.
right. No, I understand. Well, I don't think I always was either. I got really big in like 1 year. I gained almost 70 pounds in a year.
Mm.
And that was my dive over. But
Throwing
once you
up
get to
helps.
that point and you realize, you know, like, I don't ever want to go back to that,
Mhm.
you might let yourself teeter a little bit, but I don't think like you could ever mentally let yourself just completely fall off altogether.
no,
Not that it hasn't happened, because it has, I'm sure, with some people.
For
In
sure.
fact, actually, now that I'm talking out loud, I think there's a gentleman. Hold on, sorry, I unplugged something. There's a gentleman named oh, what is his name? Glutton to Glory. I don't know if any of
mm,
you guys have followed him.
I haven't.
You should not. I
Going to.
mean, just because one, I want to wholeheartedly support everything that he is trying to do to himself. The man lost a ton of weight and went through a major mental psychosis and self-sabotage and gained almost all of it back. And we're talking like
Wow.
100 and something pounds. So, if anybody's watching, oh, I can hear myself. Am I echoing for you guys?
Yeah, there's
A little bit,
reverb.
yeah.
there's a bit of an echo now, yeah. But that's a good moment to step quickly in here. I think one part is the body composition, right, which changes a lot for everyone that goes
Mhm.
onto the carnivore part. I think where I don't want to go back to is that mental fog and not being sharp in the morning when you wake up. And that is, for me, I think the most obvious one is the body composition. But for me as a person, what I feel is more that mental brightness and that sharpness that comes with specifically when I only eat red meat and salt and water and nothing else is outstanding. And I would never want to go back to this sluggishness in my brain, right? When you wake up in the morning and you don't know how you feel. Now I wake up and I'm completely bright. I'm completely jet lagged today. I slept 2.5 hours and I did a big tour today and I feel just amazing all day long, right? So that is the other aspect I think that comes along with it. And people that have
Oh, we
Uh-oh.
lost him.
and then will always have in the background it's a dangerous diet, right? Rather than what it does to them.
Right.
I like to point out, because if you're listening, Joey and I are shirtless. We joked with Brian coming before ahead of this live, but the purpose of me being shirtless, and I don't know, Joey, I'd love to hear your take after I share mine really quick, which is I always post shirtless if at all possible to prove to anybody that red fatty meat is not inflammatory. It's not the cause of disease. and it's healthy for you. It's healing and healthy all the time. It really is. And I know I say that constantly in videos, but it's the truth. And being shirtless is not, it's not about the physical side, because I think the major wins with carnivore are, like you mentioned, Stefan, the mental side, the self-identity, the confidence, all that's number one. But also, to the point of people who don't really understand or who object to carnivore, it's just being shirtless and saying, look, optimal human beings. And I did my 2-year carnivore post maybe a few days ago now, and somebody commented, and I love the comments. They have their right to comments. That's what the comment section is for. But somebody says, oh, lost weight but didn't gain any muscle. So I responded by saying, gain strength. It's not about muscle size. It's about being optimal, about being able to sprint, being able to play soccer, being able to do actual active movements like you do, Joey, in your videos as well. So it's not about muscle size. Yes, being in the gym is healthy, but it's about strength. I've grown stronger.
Functional strength is just as important as muscle mass. And let's be perfectly honest. Like I have yet to see anyone who's carnivore who is morbidly obese now. There's just something about it. You're just seeing this common theme of dudes, and they're all starting to get shredded up, or they lose a ton of weight and they start to shred up. And it's just, I don't think I need to I don't think you should be judged by like an IBBF pro standard. I don't think that's a fair expectation for a lot of people, especially if you're, not blasting gear. Like I think your body type's fine. Like I think you're doing great, and you should be proud of where you're at, especially from where you came from. I think a lot of people have this like unrealistic standard, or for that matter, they're just shitting on you to shit on you. And that's really what it boils down to, because they just are objectors to the diet or the lifestyle you're living.
Yeah, your question to me was, why am I shirtless in a lot of my content? Well, I live in Maui. I live in Hawaii, and it's pretty nice. And pretty much anytime I'm not required to wear clothes, I'm not wearing them. So like
Nice.
that's the main reason. But then it's also like people saying you can't build muscle on carnivore and stuff. I'm going to be doing a bodybuilding show in July. That's my goal. I've never done bodybuilding before. Hey,
What's
but
up?
I mean, I've been building muscle. It depends how much you eat. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm not looking too bad.
Yeah, dude, you don't look like
They're
a
coming
slouch, that's
along.
for sure.
But it's not, like you said, it's the most important thing to me, and it's always started here, is my mental health. Like I was in a really dark place. You gotta understand, I didn't have one good thought for like over a year. I was trying to kill myself. I was just too scared of what's on the other side. So ultimately, the reason I eat this way is because from the mind, then comes everything else. Now I can work out. Now I can have fun. Like I haven't had a bad day since that time. And it's not because people haven't died or horrible things haven't happened. It's just because I'm intentional with what I'm doing to myself. So,
And how do you
Joey-
feed the brain, though? You feed the brain.
how do you feed the brain? Yeah, it's what you're eating. That's what I'm saying. That diet, like I'm fueling my brain and my body, of course, but the body, like what's the body without being able to move it or think about it? What's the point?
Joey, I was curious. You had mentioned earlier that you had tracked macros in the past. Are you currently tracking macros at all? Like maybe not necessarily caloric intake, but your fat protein intake, or are you tracking your caloric intake? Just out of curiosity.
I track nothing. No, I eat usually about 3 pounds of meat a day, a little under that. I eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Ground beef breakfast, ground beef lunch, steak for dinner.
Nice.
Gotta end it right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I dabble. I bounce back and forth between, tracking macros, not necessarily the calories. I have an idea what my BMR is, and it's funny because what keeps me full is typically right around my BMR. Whether that's intentional or not, it just kind of shakes out that way. And if I am looking to cut, I don't really cut food out of my diet. I basically just work out harder, and that seems to help get me, down to whatever weight I'm trying to hit or whatever, build for summer that I'm trying to hit.
Well, if you
But
guys
yeah.
eat too much, I don't know if you're like me, but it'll just come out of you.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know that I've ever been able to eat too much on carnivore. Like there is very much a brick wall whenever my body is done. Like there is no sense that I am like, oh, let me just keep it's like no, everything in me is like we can't. There's no possible way. And that's something that I think most people don't even understand what that feels like anymore because of all of the chemicals and everything that's in a lot of the food nowadays that like tricks the brain into saying you're not full, tricks the brain into encouraging you to be like unable to be satiated. So you're just like shoveling food in. I mean, there's a reason that the saying on one of those chip bags is "Bet you can't eat just one," and we only discover years later that it's because they put a chemical in there to trick the brain to not ever experience fullness. So
Yeah.
it's like it's madness.
Well, I was going to also jump on that same topic, which is you can
Jump
eat a
on it.
family size bag of chips and still not be full. You can
Yeah.
go to eat a biggie sized fast food value meal. And I remember when I was eating that, I would be like, I'm still hungry. I'm going to go back for a second.
For sure.
There's no hunger hormones activated at all. And I think when you're blind to it, you don't see that you're just making yourself sicker and more unhealthy, like instantly.
Yeah. I
Versus
mean, most people
yeah.
don't even see that that's not even food. Like that's not even like real food.
I
That
feel like that's
part,
what the body's trying to tell you. Your body's saying, "All right, bro, let's try this again. Go eat some real food because it didn't work that time."
right?
Absolutely.
When I
I've
was
had days where I'll
when I was
sit down and I'll eat
bodybuilding,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was gonna say when I was bodybuilding, I tried to like do like a carnivore bulk, and it was the most miserable thing in the entire world because like when your satiety hormones say you've had enough to eat, they really mean it. It's like you could put like if I've eaten and I'm not hungry, and my hormones are saying don't eat, you could put a ribeye in front of me smothered in garlic butter, and it's not only like not appetizing to me, it almost activates your gag reflex. Your body's like no, just no, and you have to force yourself to eat, and it's really uncomfortable. It's really miserable, and it doesn't matter how good the food you're eating is. You're just like ew, stop eating. And it was a really uncomfortable experience. And in the end, I didn't really gain a lot of weight because, like you talk about building muscle on carnivore, you will build muscle on carnivore, but you're not going to build a lot of it per se because your body is adapting to your genetic expression as a hunter. So it doesn't want massive amounts of bulk. It doesn't want you to look like an open bodybuilder. That's why they go through so much they go through so much extremes to put on that massive amount of bulk. Your body doesn't want that. So it's going to fight you tooth and nail to put mass on no matter how much you eat and no matter how much you work out. It's a really grueling process, and God bless you, Joey. Good luck with it. You look
Thanks. I
great.
don't
You look
eat
great,
like
though.
that, but
It's a lot of work though.
bodybuilders, just to reiterate what you're saying, bodybuilders still do that. They're just doing it eating shit, right?
Mhm.
And they feel really bad. And then the one time they almost get like kind of healthy, they feel even worse because they're losing all their body fat, right? And they're not
Right.
eating very many carbohydrates right before you're on stage. But yeah, humans weren't made to be these big monsters. I mean, they're all taking, PEDs, but I don't like their health is not their focus, and I still have respect for someone who takes their thing that far. It's like, wow, that's incredible. But I'm not gonna sit here and be like, that's a healthy person.
Mm,
I think most of those like pro bodybuilders will tell you this is not healthy. This is not a
Yeah.
long-term thing you can pull off. I think they all acknowledge it at least. At least the smart ones do. And that's why
Yeah.
you're seeing like for instance C-Bum backed out like he's done. He's done bodybuilding and he sees what happened to people like Ronnie Coleman where it's just like the end is just not a good look.
no.
But yeah, I think you're 100% right.
I have friends and IFBB pros or former or other friends who I used to be into bodybuilding myself, less into functional movements, which I am now. But all that aside, I have a lot of friends who've just done one show and they're out. Can't take it. And also, I'd like to add that cutting and bulking are not natural. Like like changing your body from 20 pounds at one point down 20 pounds and then back up, that's not optimal. You're going on one end of the spectrum by eating a certain way, and then you're going to the other end of the spectrum by, like you said, Joey, people, you know what it is, you're going to cut carbs, also starve yourself. So that's not healthy either.
Both starve your face and yourself.
Right?
Yeah, I find when I just kind of eat what I feel like eating most of the time, and it's within the realm of like what might be a Marby. But what's really interesting, and it's happened a lot more lately, is like I'll have days where I'm just like crazy hungry, and I don't know if it's from like workouts or work life or whatever is going on, but at some point in time I'll like sit down and I will eat, and I just cannot eat enough. And so I'm just like, I'll go with it, like whatever. And then like the next day or two, my diet or like my intake is just squashed. I'm just like not hungry. And I think I'm just kind of going with the rhythm of what my body's asking for and demands. And then the other thing is when I eat nothing but ground beef and I stick to it for a few weeks, I lose weight. And I think it's mainly because I get a little palate fatigue. I get kind of sick of eating the same thing all the time. So I have to switch it up where it's like, okay, I'll have a little salmon, or maybe I'll have some chicken, or I'll have, some pork or something like that. But for the most part, yeah, I get palate fatigue quick. And that's
can
okay.
relate to the ground beef thing. I mean,
for sure.
to give you a concept of what I did, I would buy the 9-pound Costco thing of ground beef. And I'm not talking about the ground beef, the hamburger patties. Yeah. And I'd cook all of them at once, and then I'd put them in containers. And at first I'd refrigerate them, and then I started just leaving them in my car. So like in between jobs, and it'd take me an hour to eat, this 1 pound of ground beef.
I believe that.
I didn't warm it up. I didn't care how it tasted. Like now I care a little more.
I can't remember what his name is. I've heard people say
beef.
you're not eating for taste, you're eating for results, and I'm okay with that. I kind of dig that concept.
Right.
Well, because what's food for?
Well, that's when I was before I was full carnivore, and I was still like
That damn thing.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah.
When I was still like really heavy keto, but I wasn't full carnivore, I had to like my food. Like there wasn't an option for me to just eat and be okay with it. Like if I didn't like it, I couldn't eat it, especially because I do have I have a what the hell? Sorry. It's gonna be one of those days, guys. It's something with my audio.
No, it's good.
Yeah?
Yes.
Because I hear myself.
Yeah, the rest of us hear it too, I think.
Let's just say carnivore over and over so it echoes through the world.
Come on, man. Sorry, guys.
And put up the little loading circle.
Just have an echo conversation.
For me, it's good now. I had big network problems just before, so now it seems to be super good.
There's no echo for you, Steph.
Yeah, it's interesting that Stefan doesn't echo.
I never do, Joey. That's a life decision.
You don't repeat yourself, you just say it once.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Am I echoing? Let's see. Yes, I am.
That's right. I'm like, what is this?
I see it. Come on.
Hold on. When I do this, though, I can't hear you guys. Is it still echoing? Can somebody nod yes or no? Is it still echoing? Yeah?
Yes.
So nothing to do with what I'm messing with.
When the nodding turns into a headbanging exercise.
Hold on.
Yes.
If That didn't tell you guys I have a 3-year-old. No, now.
That's nothing Stephen and I could do. The headbanging works, but there's nothing flying around any longer, right?
Right. I'd love to be able to blame my hair loss on my job and the stress from it, but really I think it came from genetic issues. We have
Have you had
follically
that
challenged people in my
bird
family.
on your shoulder the whole time?
No, the Sun Conure just entered the chat, so she was reaching for me, so I brought her over.
Pretty.
Yeah, she's come here. Step up. Step up. Where you going?
Well, guys, I don't know what the deal is.
Hmm.
It is I'm debating about exiting us out and starting over.
But what's the issue on your end? Can you hear everyone very clear now? Is it just me
Yeah.
where it works?
Hello?
Yes.
I can hear you.
Is that better? I still hear the reverb. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a very bad background noise. I
Do you
thought
not
it's
hear
your bird. I thought it's your bird chirping first, but it isn't.
No. She doesn't chirp as much as she talks trash.
All right, so we are live. Yeah, I'm gonna shut us down and I'm gonna start over.
Okay.
So we need to relog in.
What, darling? Yeah, he says I'm good now, but I still hear myself.
Me too.
Out and in for all of us.
Yes.
See you in a bit.
Just try having one other thing on, Selena. It's not just me, because even when I mute myself, everyone else is still echoing through as well. Aw, thank you, Nora. I appreciate it. Love you, babe. Oh, wait. Hello?
Now you're silenced completely.
What? Nate left.
So we should exit out?
Yeah,
Yes, we exit out.
Yeah, I'm gonna end it.
See you in a bit.
No. You guys don't have to go
Bye-bye.
anywhere. Hold on.
You're not echoing now.